Database continued. Action. All right, what matters here? Creating a database, an organized database, and consistently communicating to that database. This is the fundamental foundation of your business, really. It's building that pot of gold, keeping it organized, and consistently communicating with it. The action plan. Write a regular post or e-blast. An e-blast is one way to go, but really, why not make that a blog post that is forwarded out to your email list? That way you're kind of capturing the best of both sides. You're capturing the public who are maybe not on your email list, and you're also emailing directly to your database. You can easily create or purchase 6 to 12 evergreen posts. There's lots of content creators out there, and it's easy enough for me to connect you with one if you can't find one on your own. And again, have those evergreen posts. For the most part, like in BC here, for instance, property assessments just went out. So all the property assessments went out. Explaining what a property assessment is a post I've put out every year for about 5, 6, 7 years running. And every year I get people who've seen it every year for 6 or 7 years running, commenting saying, oh wow, thanks for sharing this. So just because you told them once doesn't mean you can't tell them again over and over and over. And as I say, the property assessment one is a great one because what's a property assessment? It is not an appraisal. It is not a value to be used for selling. It is not a value to be used for financing. It's a computerized value calculated last July. The market has changed since last July. The number is not real. So there's a lot that you could say, and you can go on about that. And that is a post that can go out every January, year after year after year. And your database will appreciate it. And again, these types of communications, positioning yourself as an expert, that's a foundational piece of the success. So, not a great writer? Like I say, not a problem. Outsource, outsource, outsource. And absolutely, AI is here. You're seeing it. You're seeing all kinds of posts, videos, different things being created with AI. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. It's not necessarily the cure-all, the fix-all, but it's very interesting. So how do we work this database? Again, pick that pen back up, write this down. Only do a thing once if you can repeat it 1,000 times. Be very careful about things like, geez, Rob, Christmas cards. We had a good little talk about Christmas cards. Let's pause for a second. Let's cut over to the Rob cam because I know I'm stepping out of frame. But it was a good conversation.
Yep. This year hadn't done so. Every year, we would do, apart from closing transactions, purchases. I'll try to speed this up because God, I'm slow when I talk, and I'll try to keep us on point.
All good.
Every year we would download from our CRM. Doesn't matter which CRM you use, whether that's an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Doc sheet, or a Mac sheet program that you use. I would download those closed clients, and then closed clients from previous years. And then, of course, you're going to weed out a couple, right? The people that thought you were a donkey or you didn't particularly like them, so you're just happy to not engage with them and maybe delete their contact card. And so I would go and send out Christmas cards. We send out Christmas cards every year. I didn't do it 2021, Christmas 2021, but we just did it this last year.
And you handwrite in these cards. And then you hand address? Or
No. I'm not that crazy.
You got the envelopes on.
We got the Avery sticky envelope labels, so we do that. But I do handwrite the Christmas cards. If I was smart, if I was like Dustin, I'd probably do 5 a day for the whole 5 a week for the whole year to prep up for just getting them all in the bin. Of course, I don't do that.
Hey, you're the sensitive one, man. I mean, like you're smart and sensitive, because sending them out makes sense. But how many of those cards did you have to handwrite?
I wrote a message in every one of them by hand.
How many though?
A
couple hundred?
Couple hundred, yeah.
So that's a couple days worth.
It was a couple days, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, as you carry on in the business and it grows and grows and grows, so too does that chore. And Christmas becomes a time of year you grow to hate.
Yeah, you really do. And actually, a realtor sent me one, and it was actually smart, and I might adopt this for next year. So always learning, right? Taking the best from the best around you. It was a postcard with their handwritten message that was guaranteed just
Not handwritten.
cropped onto the printed.
Printed.
It was a very carte blanche message. Label, stamp, maybe it's 3 hours of work for you, and then it's done. So I think we're going to go to that model next year, but I do send them out.
That's a happy medium.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
something you can repeat 1,000 times. Handwrite it all out once.
It is.
Kind of generic, and then it gets printed on, and it looks handwritten, and people are kind of like, is it?
Is it, isn't it? And I'm a pretty good, I can pretty examine stuff pretty well to see, and it was really hard for me to tell that it was printed on. So she did a very good job with that postcard.
That's worthwhile.
It is.
That's a good angle. So my angle is way less personal. I send out a non-denominational Happy New Year email, and I went to an email when the budget started to get crazy for the cards, like
Right.
1,600 cards,
Right.
postage, everything else, and then there'd be address hiccups. And I remember being at one of my key referral partners' places around the time of the holidays. He had some group of people over, and one of my clients was there as well, and he's looking at the cards on the mantle, and he's like, "Oh, how come I didn't get a card? What, I don't rate?" And somehow they'd slip through the cracks. They weren't cut, they just slipped through the cracks and they didn't get a card. And I started to realize this is just all kinds of problems. You know, the people you're cutting from the list, the people that you don't get the card to,
Yep.
and then they see someone else got the card, and then they take it personally.
Yep.
So I just went to an email, and the other piece I did is I said, hey, just so everyone understands, I mean, I am about numbers. My Christmas card mailer is about $3,000. And rather than spending $3,000 mailing you a paper card, which I know you would spend hours cherishing, reopening, rereading,
Smelling.
probably sleep with it under
Yes.
the pillow at night.
100%.
Instead, I'm going to donate that $3,000 to a homeless shelter here in town. It's 3,000 pairs of socks,
Right.
which in Vancouver, it's kind of wet in the winter. They burn through socks
Right.
on the downtown east side. So, you know, we put 3,000 socks on people's feet instead, and you get some good feedback, you know, and you get instant.
You probably get more feedback than you do, because I can tell you a couple hundred Christmas cards went out. I only heard from 2 people, and it was by chance during the holidays because I ran into them at the grocery store, and they went, "Oh, I got your card." But, you know, if you're not lying to yourself, you get the same cards from people, and you go, "Oh, that's nice." And then it goes in the bin. It really does. So you got to pick, I don't know, cut your losses,
Yep.
maybe, I don't know.
Well, as they say, I give this quote, I give credit to Joel Olson for this quote. I heard it in a presentation he gave, and it sticks with me. And at 200 times, you know,
Yeah.
you're okay,
Yeah.
but 300, 400, 500, you're going to be hating life.
I'm not sending it to everybody, by the way. It is not my entire database. I'm very
that's-
selective, but it does take a lot of time to do.
That's risky.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's risky. Should be sending it to everybody.
Mental note, eliminate Christmas card budget.
All right, so
immediately.
basic but powerful, right? Paper birthday cards versus an email. So to put some numbers to it, here it comes. Paper birthday cards, $8 all in by the time you know, potentially. Times 100, times 500, times 1,000. Now, some of you are saying, where the heck are you buying your cards, Woodhouse? That's crazy. Whatever. Your postage plus envelope plus card, it's at least $250, $3. So it's a spend. It's a spend, absolutely. Whereas an email takes about 8 seconds or 3 seconds, depending on what you're looking at. And again, action items. Extract all of your client data, drop it into an Excel sheet, and create a nice, simple little birthday Excel sheet. I've got one. It's a wonderful little document, and I'll show you why. Apply delayed delivery, right? So preset 1 week at a time. You could do a whole month's worth. You could do more. You could definitely hire somebody and outsource this, have them sit down at your computer, you know, maybe like one of your kids or whatever, and create these delayed delivery emails to go out. You could set the whole year up if you really wanted to, but certainly doing it 1 week at a time is manageable, and you don't get too far out ahead of things. And I like to run it about 1 week out. And I send a very, very simple email. And I've already shared a story with you about how powerful that can be when they respond, right? Just a quick note to wish you a wonderful day. All the best, DW. That's it. That's the whole email right there. One line. The header just says, Happy B-Day, Rob. That's it. It just, Happy B-Day with the name, first name, and this. And we try and change the sentence up every year. So in the new year, I'll try and write a slightly different sentence so it doesn't sound like the exact same one that people received the year before. There's 934 people on my past clients list. That's 2.5 emails per day. It's really not a big deal. It's 18 per week, 78 per month. But the power of that collectively really, really starts to add up. And I get, out of those 78 per month, I get 2 to 3 replies a week. Consistently, as I say, just mentioned one I got yesterday. And out of those 2 to 3 replies, at least one of them is a mortgage inquiry. It's an actual mortgage inquiry, which ultimately leads to at least one funded file per month. It's a little different for me now because I'm then CCing an intro to another mortgage broker. So I'm also giving my old database the heads up, like I'm not your broker, but here's someone who can absolutely take great care of you. And at that point, some of them pivot to someone else in their orbit, but some of them work with the broker I refer them. But it has been 5 years since I've been an active broker, and I am still funding at least one mortgage every month out of my happy birthday emails alone. Alone. That's how powerful this is. And why does it work? It works because unlike a paper card, which I know many of you feel is more caring and more thoughtful, but that's a you thing. That's a you thing. That's you expressing how caring you are, expressing how thoughtful you are, and hoping it's being received that way. And whether it is or isn't, you'll never know because nobody writes a thank you. Oh, I said I wasn't going to say all, everybody, nobody, all. Virtually nobody writes a thank you letter and puts it in the mail and sends it back to somebody who sent them a birthday card. Like, I don't know. I've never met a broker who's got a thank you letter for their birthday card or their Christmas card or Happy New Year card or any of that. However, the client can tap reply to an email, right? But not to a piece of paper. That's the key point here. That's why it creates action. The happy birthday email, action. You get a result. The paper card, I get it. You're caring, you're thoughtful, you're sending them a lotto ticket. That's where my $8 came from. A lot of people drop a lotto ticket in there. That's wonderful. But they're probably not even going to tell you if they win the damn lottery because then they're going to feel guilty, feel like they need to share it with you. So keep that in mind. That is, by the way, that little happy birthday email piece, I've had 3 brokers in particular adopt that over the past year and they've shared with me multiple times the different results that have come back. It works. It generates business. It actually works. It's real. It starts a conversation and results in dollars in your pocket. One more funded mortgage file per month, that's pretty incredible. And it would be a lot different. If you had 1,000 people in your database that you emailed a happy birthday to and you're getting 2 to 3 replies, and that turns into, say, 1 mortgage application, that'd be 2. It'd be 2 funded files per month guaranteed. That's not bad. If you're in a market where your average mortgage is $300,000, that's like $5,000 a month sending out a happy birthday email. It's real, and a whole bunch of you will never do it because it seems too easy, it seems too, I don't know, not caring enough. I don't know why you won't do it. I'm telling you the people who do it get results, and it works. So do it. Do it. It's that simple. Now, one pro tip around your database, as you set these different things up, you know, the beauty of Excel is it's not subscription. It's your own database. You're managing it. The challenge with MailChimp or any CRM system, they all have a notifications button. Like any notifications of any kind, turn that off. Turn notifications off. Do not have your notifications on whatsoever because the pain that you're going to suffer if you leave the notifications on, especially for the unsubscribe list, is seeing your own mom unsubscribe from your email list. It will happen because she talks to you all the time and she gets that data. Or your mom is super in the know and she's got her RSS feed set up and she gets an update every time you update your blog post. Or. There's many different reasons people will unsubscribe that have nothing to do with hurting your feelings or rejecting you. But it's really difficult to not feel rejected and to not feel like you have hurt feelings when somebody unsubscribes. The other key piece around that, I would say, watch out for reaching out to somebody and asking them why they've unsubscribed. Don't do that. Let them unsubscribe in peace. Do you want somebody from a company calling you every time you unsubscribe from an email list? No, you don't. So don't even look. And again, the bottom line, when it comes to database, when it comes to just about anything, only do a thing once if you can repeat it 1,000 times.